Welcome back. All week we're looking at the supernatural world, and today we're exploring its darker side, and particularly psychic fraud.
Our specially commissioned supernatural survey uncovered that of the 1 in 5 people who admit to visiting a medium, almost half feel cheated by the experience.
Well, yesterday we were joined by former psychic Mark Edwards, who openly admits to previously conning those who believe in the afterlife, and Sheila Brown, who was left devastated by a medium. Sheila's name and identity have been protected at her own request. Sheila, let's start with you, because you have been a believer in the paranormal. You've had quite a few experiences, but there's one particular experience when I think you were about 26 that you thought needed a medium.
Yeah.
Why?
I've always sensed spirit around for quite a few years, and it seemed to be getting stronger.
So you called in a team?
Yeah.
And they came in?
Yeah. And
that's when you met this one particular medium?
Yeah.
And you had no reason to assume at that stage that that he was anything other than the man that was going to clear out whatever it was that was in your house?
Yeah, he seemed really genuine.
So to begin with, I mean, he sort of said that he agreed to come to your house and to have a look around to see what he could feel or find. And the original option that he gave you was a suggestion that he said from his spirit guides.
Yeah.
And what was that option?
It was to detach the spirit from me because it had attached itself, and we had to make it jealous. And by doing that, I'd have to say that I was in love with him, I had no family.
With the medium?
Yeah. I wasn't married, no children, and I was going away with him.
And it was quite scary what he said to you about this spirit that was supposedly in your house at the time. I mean, he said that this was a person that had murdered women.
Yeah, murdered and raped them when they were dead. It was a half man, half demon. If it'd cry, it would be blood for tears.
How did it progress?
When we actually came to doing the clearing, we went into my bedroom, and I heard a noise like a man shaving. And as soon as I'd heard that, he shouted out, "Oh my God," and I'm like, "What's the matter?" He said, "Am I bleeding?" And I turned the torch on.
So it was dark by that stage?
Yeah, he'd scratched his face. Unbeknown to me, he was making me feel that it was the spirit that done it to him.
And at what point did it become, when you thought, you know, that's scary, that's a con, but when did it become even more inappropriate?
He said I had barriers that he needed to get down, and the only way he could do that was by getting in my bed, and nothing would happen.
Yes, and obviously at that point alarm bells rung,
Yeah.
and you put a stop to it straight away. But the power that this man had over you by sort of preying on your vulnerability.
Yeah.
Did you feel foolish?
I do now. Yeah, very. Yeah.
And Mark, this is not something that surprises you a great deal, is it?
Not at
really?
all. No, I hear about these things all the time. So.
Well, you surrounded your life initially, grandfather magician, you know, sort of magic all around.
Right.
So at what point did you decide that you were going to set out to scam the scammers?
Well, as a mentalist, I realized the power of charisma and suggestion. So I learned that the very simple suggestions that a good performer, street performer or otherwise, or magician, can be very powerful. And I also learned about giving readings. People want answers. So I saw how easy it was, and I saw some of the most egregious forms of this happening, and I decided, you know, if they can do this, I can do it, but I'm going to rise as high as I can, or as low, depending on how you look at it, and see what I can learn. So
the whole idea was so that you could get in, infiltrate in a way, and then write the book to expose it.
Yeah.
So what are the techniques then? I mean, we sort of hear of, might it cold calling or
cold reading.
Cold reading.
Yeah. Cold reading is, you know, pretty standard. Most people know about it. That's pretending that you have great knowledge about someone by just using random generalities and honing in on that person, watching their body language, watching how they react. You use a lot of verbal deception that can go either way. And you're constantly course correcting to get to that vulnerable hook. And once you get the hook in, then everything else falls away and you go for whatever.
So this is a real skill, a gift.
I wouldn't want to call it a gift, or I guess it could be a skill. I call it fraud.
What's slightly more frightening is now this hot reading.
Yeah.
Which is something that's got greater as sort of the technology.
That is a whole new platform. Now, normally you could get a reading on the internet where you would be on the screen like Skype and you'd be looking at the psychic. Now, when you use your credit card information, the psychic or medium will be able to look at you on one half of the screen, while on the other half of the screen, all your personal information is scrolling by. So they can literally say, "Ah, you had a lot to drink at the pub the other night, didn't you? And
oh my
you just bought a new pair of shoes about a week ago." Yeah. In the United States, you're able to do that. I hear in the UK, using that kind of information is illegal. So,
but within your career, which has been many, many years, and surrounding yourself in that world, have you ever seen or met someone or had any experience where you thought, actually, there might be something in this, something might be real?
Well, I will say I have met some people who are very intuitive, who are people who are sensitive, but there's nothing supernatural about it. They are just open, and they are able to assess this sort of information that most people don't even think about. So, but I wouldn't call it supernatural.
Well, you proved how far you could go in the the seance.
Yes.
Which is an extraordinary thing that people will suspend disbelief watching you do what you did. Tell us that.
Well, I think darkness has a lot to do with it. You know, I mean, in the pitch black darkness, you can suggest all sorts of things. And there is an incredible, when you link hands with people in a circle, there's an incredible tension that they want something to happen. Confirmation bias makes them imagine things that aren't even there. Memories, hallucinations even. So I think when you suggest oh yeah, you may feel a cold chill or you may feel a tap on your shoulder, they'll feel those things even though there's nobody in the room and no cold chill. So it's suggestion in the dark.
You stood up with a levitation.
Yeah, a levitation. Yeah, basically you hold the person's hands, and then in the pure darkness I would slowly stand up, then get on the chair and project my voice towards the ceiling and say, "Don't let go of my hands, I'm going up to the ceiling." And to those people on my right and left, it's like this, so they can't see.
Simple con. That's very
simple,
con.
but traditional. This goes back hundreds of years.
Just finally, I mean, there are a lot of people who go to one of these readings or these evenings, and they want to talk to someone who's died, and maybe that last final thing, that they're okay and that they've moved on and everything is all right.
Right.
Is there something good in that? If it makes them feel better?
No, I don't think so, because what you're saying is it ends there. With a professional entertainer, it ends there. They go home, show's over. But with the people like I'm against, they've just gotten the hook in. You're going to be hearing from them, "Oh, you need another reading. You need to buy a candle. Oh, bring me some money," and on and on and on. So, yeah, it's okay to go to a kid's Halloween party and get a palm reading and maybe go. It's no different than a bartender. You go to the bartender, you tell them your blues. But you don't expect them to get a hook in you and drag you down for the rest of your life.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Mark. Psychic Blues, Confessions of a Conflicted Medium is available on Kindle. And thank you very much indeed.
Thank you also. Thanks for coming in.
And we'll see you after the break.